what the fuck? Jesus Christ. Come on, man. What the fuck is that bullshit? Yo, what's up? How you doing? All right? You good? Let's see. Can we bring this in here? I'm doing this. All right, whatever. It's all good. It's Stevie Lou. I'm here with you after a exhausting rock bottom with Ray DeVito. A pretty busy night in general. Got to go to the Stand in beautiful Manhattan, New York City, hanging out with the one and only Ray DeVito. He had his show tonight at the Stand, so I popped in, said hello. Hello, Leo Gunn, hanging out. So yeah, we had a few drinks. He was all fired up about the whole Ari Jane situation. So I tried to just listen, be a buddy, but he was just fucking going. And he says, I'm going to go live when I get home. And he was going to send me the link. So I had a couple soda pops tonight at the Stand. Came home, had a few more. Yeah, it is what it is. Hanging out with Ray, you kind of have to drink. Thank you, Leo. Yeah, people decline host. A piece of human garbage says that look at my hat. It is what it is. Look like death. Did something happen? I don't know. Am I not? Yeah. I've been sleeping a little better lately. I think it's really my lighting in here and in the business of show that we are here and performing in. It's all about the lighting, and it's a very underappreciated tool in podcasting and just performance and filming in general, which I think I got to get my lights dialed in better. But to be honest, I might be moving in the near future, so I'm not making any major studio changes right now. I'm not a Chad Zumach kind of guy where I'm like, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then not make it happen. Although this is kind of a Chad Zumach sort of show where I'm just babbling and rambling here with you guys. Double Dabble checks in, says, do you think Ray heard anything you said tonight? I don't think Ray hears anything I say any night, to be really honest. And it's just Ray. So as a buddy of Ray's, I got to just accept that and try as best as I can to be patient and see if I can break through, see if I can get him to engage, see if I can try any trick to see him get outside of his bubble of negativity that he's stuck in right now over this whole Ari Jane situation. I mean, to be real frank, and my name is Stevie Lou, but to be frank, this shit happened in Detroit like 6 months ago. How the fuck is this still coming up so strong in his mind? And I think that's something it's really troubling for Ray. Yeah, there we go. He had another meltdown over Ari Jane. But then again, too, is that not what we want, Leo? Is that not what the people want? Do we not want to give them? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Russell Crowe in Gladiator, phenomenal flick. Ridley Scott, I believe. Tony Scott, rest in peace. Out of tune, just saying, wow, I'm with it. Decline host, even though he's not proven this to me in any of his actions. Claims he's a good guy, so we'll do that there. Double Dabble, is Ray crazier before or after he drinks? Fuck, I don't know Ray sober too well, now that I think about it. Usually when I see Ray, he's having a pop, and I'm usually having a pop with him, so I'm not judging here. But if you put me on the spot like this, I kind of can't really think of a time where I've known Ray to be sober. So I can't answer that honestly. The house. Do you think I have a house? That's adorable, Smokey. I told you. Give me a sec. I'll unblock you, buddy. That's kind of funny though. You have a gun. Stevie, serious question. How did you get involved with Trauma Films? Those Toxic Avenger movies were pretty popular in the 80s in my neighborhood. Leo Gunn, I actually have a prop here from the movie that I first worked on for Trauma called Shakespeare's Shitstorm. So this is an actual piece of shit from the movie signed by Lloyd Kaufman. If you could see that there, it says Toxie loves Steven. So yeah, there's a film called Shakespeare's hashtag Shakespeare's Shitstorm, and Zach Amico, a a comedy buddy of mine, is a associate director on a bunch of Trauma films. And while they were starting up on the filming of that film back 5 years ago, Zach put a call out for extras. So I literally showed up as an extra to a Trauma film. And while we were hanging out between a scene that I was on, someone needed someone to go get something from a store, and the PA fucked it up and couldn't get what the head of special effects needed. So I saw the special effects guy yelling at this PA, and I was like, yo, buddy, like, I'm from New York, man. This guy, the PA was like from fucking Kalamazoo or some shit, didn't know what was going on. So I was like, all right, tell me what you need and I'll go get it from you. And fucking busted ass and found this specific peroxide spray that he needed and got it to him. And the guy was like, I need people like you around, so show up tomorrow and you're working for me. And that was this guy, Doug Sackman, who has gone on to do a lot of like really cool big time projects. He's like the head of the art department for the Unsolved Mystery reboot on Netflix. So Doug Sackman, Blood Sackman, as he's also lovingly known, was my entry. Zach Amico introduced me more or less to Blood Sackman, and I've never looked back. We're waiting to get that Blu-ray 4K special edition of Shakespeare's Shitstorm released any month now, because there's a crazy documentary about the making of the film, which I am prominently featured in. Not prominently, but like there's several scenes where I'm in there. So I'm excited to see that. And since then, working in that movie has got me hired on other projects, some of them Trauma, which are usually non-paying, volunteer, just doing a favor sort of gigs. But that's also gotten me actual paid work. So that's the kind of cool thing that's going on there, that I started with Trauma, just giving my time in, and I now have gotten to a spot where I'm contributing. Double Dabble is saying fair. Tonight was peak Ray. That was, I think, going back to the thing where I said, is that not what we want, to see Ray losing his mind? I think that's what a lot of people want, and we got it. Guru, who will be soon banned from MLC chat, from what I hear. Sorry, pal. It's just, that's how it is. Not me neither. I'm not. That's not my thing. But I heard that your time is running out. Anyway, are you going to stop Chad from gigging in New York or what? Now, Guru, it's funny. If you had asked me this question a year ago, a year and a half ago, I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm going to actually do something here. But maybe I've grown. Maybe I've just gotten kind of sick of his antics and don't give a shit anymore. And also, you know what? Another angle here is that I'd actually rather see him go up in New York and get his ass kicked, because he's doing his fucking garbage jokes from 10 years ago down in like redneck towns in Florida. That shit don't fly like you think it's gonna in New York City. He ain't polished. He ain't fucking out there grinding. He's gonna get drunk. He's gonna do that dumb "I'm hateable" material that he does, and it's gonna get some tepid applause and fucking pity laughs. So let him go to New York and do his sets and fucking feel what it's like to actually perform in a marquee city in an actual market for once. It'll give him a renewed fucking vigor. We'll see some good Chad for a couple weeks. He'll be streaming 4 or 5 times a week after he gets a few sets, as we saw happened as the wonderful Rotound. Did I say Rotound? I meant talented. I get Rotound and talented confused in my head a lot. Um, the talented Patrick Melton pointed out how this little weekend that he had with TJ Miller, fucking, he lost his goddamn mind. So, what's a few sets in New York City going to do to him? Okay. I'm not going to, just out of respect to my wife, I'm not going to bring up any chats that reference her if I can avoid it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to really block anything here. I'm going to kind of just pull them up and go with you with what's going, but I just, think you'd be Mickey Blisco, who's a great chatter. Do you think you'd be solid at the 11 o'clock? Absolutely not. I'm completely stepping on Pat Dixon's toes right now. And Pat, if you see this in the future, or if anybody clips this, I'm sorry. I did not mean to try to jump on your toes, and I'm step on your toes. And I'm sure like the 13 viewers here would be a lot larger if Pat wasn't live doing his thing. So in the future, I would absolutely not do an 11 p.m. show, but I happen to be doing my thing with Ray. I happen to have a few drinks. I had this setup going. I took a day off tomorrow. Like this week, since I'm planning on going to AC, I had some time off from work that I had to take before it expired and shit. That's the nutty thing in corporate that some people probably know. My PTO from last year like disappears at the end of February, so you got to use them. So I took a few days off, and tomorrow I'm off. So I'll just be chilling so I can be with you guys tonight. And I am planning on trying to go live. I would like to bring up really quick a show that I did with Lucy Tightbox from Who Are These Podcasts, as you folks probably know her as, but she goes by Kaylee when she's not doing WATP stuff. And she's got a show called Once Over with Kaylee. And she put out an episode today that her and I recorded last week, which I had an absolute phenomenal time doing with her. And we got to talk movies. And that's like what I feel most comfortable with. So I have a show called Blunt Smoker Video. If you haven't checked it out, it's really on Spotify mostly. My producer took care of all the upload shit, and I kind of stayed out of it. So it's on Spotify for the most part, but we've done like a year and a half, almost 2 years, I think now, of episodes once a month or so where I get to talking about a specific movie. So I think that'd be a fun thing. Oh, by the way, I get pretty stoned before I talk about the film. So I try to pick specific films that work in that field, of getting high and watching movies, which I mean, I don't know about you folks out there, but that's one of my favorite pastimes. Been doing it since I was a kid, and 41 and still do. There's nothing like getting the sniff and eyeballs from the 17-year-old ticket taker at the AMC when I'm coming in high to the gills to go see whatever. So I don't know if folks saw, I went and saw a movie with my buddy Bobo from Opie and Anthony fame the other day. Basically, there's like this AMC A-list thing where I'm paying $25 a month to go see as many movies as I want, and Tuesdays it's half off to bring a guest. So I think there may be something there where I'll go see a movie with Bobo on Tuesday, and then maybe I'll stream with Bobo or myself afterwards, and we'll talk, because I think that's good. Leo Gunn, one of the great ones. One of the great ones, man. You folks out there, Decline Host, I'm talking to you. You should be more like Leo Gunn. If I could give you a little piece of unsolicited advice, I know you didn't ask, but be more like Leo Gunn. All of you, be more like Leo. Zach Amico is not only a very talented comedian, he's an incredible actor. And without spoiling too much, he plays a serial killer in Bring on the Damned. So really excited to show you folks what we did there. I one of my favorite set pieces that like props that I did only quickly seen in the movie is I was able to take a dildo and insert razors into the tip. So if that doesn't get your motor running, I don't know what you're doing. Double Dabble, do you think Stunt Joe will actually show up in AC? This is like a bet. Like, what are the odds? Like, are people putting lines out? I know that's a big thing to do this time of year, especially in a gambling city like Atlantic City. But what are the odds right now that John does show up? In my heart, I think he will. But if I'm looking at past performance, he's done a lot of like, I'm going to come and then not shown up. Seems like he's being funded to come. And I'm seeing a new John these days. I don't know about you guys, and I've only had a little bit of, a little dabble of experience with this guy recently, and I think I'm seeing a new, like, reborn John. He's like really leaning into his shit, and I think that coming and showing up to AC would be a good thing for his brand. It'll, if anything, give him some more content and more content for the bottom feeders like the Shuli Network, So John, I hopefully will be hanging out with, and we'll gladly have a drink with him. So yeah, I hear that, Drew. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Catching up here. Welcome to the club. Time for all. Hey, honestly, you got to take it with a badge of honor. He'll join a small club of folks that have been banned. If people are out there banning you with their money, don't look at that like a bad thing. That's the way I had to look at it when I had that whole Deadpool incident, which seems like that Deadpool guy has gone from all of our lives. But for a while there, he was harassing me. It was pure harassment. I didn't get the authorities involved, but he was harassing me with his payments. So that's true. It's true. Okay. Let's kind of check up and catch up here. It's like Steel Toe. I just want him to be successful enough to stay on the air as a locale. My buddy Aaron. Gummy Chainsaw. I did some stuff with Doug Sackman at the New York City Zombie Crawl in 2008 and 2009. Really nice guy. Holy shit. That is official. Doug Sackman was in charge of the New York City Zombie Crawl for years. It was something he parlayed with his experience at Troma, where they basically book like 5 bars in like the village, and they all meet up at like one spot. And he had this fucking Doug, he still has it. He's got a school bus that he's painted all black that he calls the Blood Bus. So this motherfucker basically drives this mobile special effects studio to New York City from Philly, where he lives, and all these people would show up and pay other special effects artists to like do them up or show up in their own zombie outfit, and then they would do a bar crawl and make a whole thing out of it. So that is fucking awesome. Gummy Chainsaw is the man. If you folks don't know, he's like responsible for a lot of the music videos that Tuki El Horrible uses before his shows. The guy clearly has a very funny bone in his body and a lot of talent when it comes to visual effects. So he's definitely used myself as I guess a muse, and made some very funny and sometimes digging at us. But I love it. I love those musical things that you do, buddy. Keep up the great work. Crew, I didn't do jack in the chat. If I get banned because I'm playing some fag, fuck my lips. I didn't do jack in the chat. If I get banned because of some pay pig fag, fuck MLC. Said it like, yeah, that's pretty good. I dig it. Line host says that Stevie, I actually hate you, and this sucks. LOL. Maybe I did die, guys. Maybe something did happen to me. Maybe I am dead. And this is what it is. Yes, folks. Edgy07 Stevie, we can't super chat you. No, but you're doing me a favor by watching right now. I need to get my subscription up, and I need to get my watch hours up. In the meantime, you can please go and support the BYB podcast. They're doing it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm jumping in whenever I can. Tomorrow, they've got Tukey. We've got Tukey, sorry. Tukey will be our guest on Wednesday tomorrow. That's a big, big get for us. So we're expecting some pretty crazy shit tomorrow. So if you could just go throw some bucks at BYB, that gets spread out between the whole family, and that's my people. Shout out to Derek for doing what he does. But thank you. Hopefully very soon. That's why I'm doing this. We'll get our watch hours up pretty quick. If you guys could just hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because I do go live kind of randomly. I promise I will be setting up a much more, solid thing coming up in the future. Just give me some time to get it worked on. As a matter of fact, I need a producer. So if anybody out there wants to give me a hand with some imaging and maybe some time, I don't want to ask for a lot. I'll pay, but talk to me off air. The client host says he's a good guy. All right. Here we go. Leo Gunn, another serious question. Since Eastside Dave is long gone, was the whole fight between you and him, where Big A was in the middle, real or a work? I've addressed this before, but I don't mind talking about it because it's been a while. First of all, Eastside Dave is not gone. He is doing the Davey Mac Sports. Davey Mac Sports is on YouTube every Sunday, I believe, live. Just go check out his channel and his feed. I know my old buddy Bobby Tamburo and my fucking brother Roy Harder are still working on a show with Dave every week. So please don't sleep on that. Dave is not gone. He's just off of Compound. But, without Compound now, I think technically he's probably flying higher, and is still also on WRAT in New Jersey every morning, if I have that correct. But as far as if that was a work, what I would say is, I don't think you can, because the episodes aren't on the archive. But if you can go back, I think they're on YouTube. Watch the 2 months leading up to the desk break, and you'll see how things got real weird and sideways progressively fast leading up to that desk flip, where I was getting fucked with, not by just Dave, by some of the other people behind the scenes at the time. And I was starting to do stand-up more at the time, and I was literally saying to myself, what am I doing giving as much time as I was giving up to his show each week when I could be focusing more on my own stand-up? So I was having these like conversations in my head, and then that night when I snapped, he did not plan for me to do stand-up that night. Basically, if I recall correctly, Dave had said a few weeks earlier, he was like, hey, Stevie, you're a stand-up, right? Just so you know, if I ever get stuck and I need to stretch and buy time, I may just throw it to you for you to do stand-up. And I was like, all right, Dave, I'm game, because I was always game for whatever. So that night, most people have just seen the clip. If you go back and watch, he shows up with a Band-Aid over his nose because he had some sort of skin cancer removed that day. So he was in a fucking bad mood already. And he was like struggling at some point for some sort of time. And he was like, Stevie, go do your stand-up. And then he started to fuck with me, and I took it serious. And I absolutely snapped because I tried to walk away. I did try to just leave and not have an incident. I said my piece. I walked out. But as I was walking out, I heard him make some sort of veiled physical threat. And where I was back then, I was not the kind of person that would just take a physical threat in jest. The way that he said it, I believed it. And I like really wanted to go do something. And thankfully, the desk and Big A were in the way. Bobo rules is right. Leo Gunn is a good egg. Guru just says no. All right, buddy. I'm just warning you. That's all. You know, Leo Gunn is absolutely a good one. Great egg. Leo Gunn is famous forever for fucking financing the Compound Media Halloween Christmas party. That was like the Christmas just before COVID or just after. It might have been 2021. LOL. Moving on up. A lot of love. Client host Stevie. I also smoke cigarettes. Honestly, it's one of the most disgusting habits that I have. Coffee and cigarettes are my two worst ones, and I've done a really good job quitting cigarettes. But lately, I've been under a lot of stress, and when I drink, I like to have a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes normally, but yeah, it is what it is. That's not happening, buddy. I can't help you with that. That's out of my league. Hey, take it up with Adam and Kevin. Guru's having a good time. I like that. If you're having a good time, I'm having a good time, and I'm glad to see that you could laugh with us. AJ Drinks says, "Well, hey, Stevie and Stevie fans, we call ourselves lunatics out there. So if you're in listening distance of my voice right now and you're hearing this, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to throw up an L. Put that L proudly on your forehead. Show the folks around you what you're doing. And if they say, what is that? And say, hey, I'm a lunatic. Check out Stevie Lou Comedy. But the big thing about the L is that it's right here, right now. But then all of a sudden it can go boom. And if it's boom, it's like there, then real quick. It's a flick of the wrist. And I'm a loose cannon. It sucks. I don't have all my imaging here. Like I'm not even gonna do it. Yeah, short list of folks that finally got the knife. Mickey Blisco's Mickey Bitsko, excuse me. John is hilarious, and yes, he is intelligent. His politics are a master troll. I think that Long Island Guinea is ingrained in him. Hey, just like Anthony Cumia, right? People like who aren't from New York, who aren't from the area, are like, hey, that Anthony Cumia sure is racist. And then people from around here are like, yeah, he's Italian from like Suffolk County. Like, what did you fucking think? Do you know anything about anything? Because, okay, I don't know about all this shit too. People getting banned. Well, not about getting people banned. People are saying decline host is Eastside Dave. Adam 3330 says, what are your thoughts on Carl from WATP getting a stylist? I mean, if this guy shows up looking like Tom Cruise all of a sudden, it's going to ruin his aesthetic. So, from what I understand, the Isotopes are kind of like punk rock. So, I hope he's not making a big mistake there by going all J. Crew on us. But yeah, Leo Gunn is right. Hit the like button. If you can't, super chat. And you know what? Again, super chat BYB and keep up the great support of MLC, because I'll be straight up tonight. I told Ray this kind of in confidence, so I figure this will be repeated the next time he gets a chance. But like right now, if Kevin Brennan is having me on twice a week and he's paying me that little chunk each month, is going to be able to allow me to like just breathe a little bit while I go through this, separation. And I'm again living by myself now. Had, a significant other with me for a while, paying rent, contributing, and now I'm just completely on my own here, which is what it is. But dead serious, man. If it weren't for Kevin Brennan, I'd be in a much tougher spot right now. I'd have to fucking try to find another fucking side job. So I consider it like somewhat of a side job, and I take pride in the work that I do with Kevin. I have a lot of fun on there and spend a lot of time working with Kevin, Adam, Pat Dixon on Saturdays. All that shit's great, man. Not happy that I guess he got called out. Yeah, they're saying they got called out. Mark Foley's checking in, saying, "Great to see you, my man." Having a good time. Just trying to get through this here, catch up with the chat. He's going to give me a thumbs up when he sees me live. Yeah, folks, come on. I'm I'm a gentle giant, very approachable. So if you do see me in public, just say, "Hey, Stevie, I'm a fan." MLC, wherever. Doghouse Riley checking in, saying, "What up, Stevie? What's up, dog?" Eddie 07, Stevie, Derek cracks me up. Reminds me of Cheech and Chong. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Derek does have that voice. I think that's the best asset that Derek has. He's got that deep register. He reminds me of Sam Neill. No, what's the guy? The guy who was in the beginning of the Big Lebowski. Sam fucking the cowboy dude. He's got that deep old voice like that. Beef. It's what's for dinner. You guys will help me out in the chat. But yeah, he's got the voice and he's got the time. No offense to Derek, he's got the time to work on this. He primarily has built up this whole BYB brand. I know I've had definitely some help doing it, but it's all been a labor of love for him. And it's just a matter of repetition. He's getting better by doing 3 shows a week. And he's only about a year and change into like running a show. Like I'm looking at a 5-year plan for him. I could see him being like a unique asset in the entertainment, even if it's in a niche field, because like he brings up creepy, weird, fucking wacko shit, and he's in a goddamn wheelchair. So I was saying to him the other night off air, I was like, we got to push BYB a certain way. We got to tell people, if you're listening to BYB out there, tell people about it. And I get it. You can't just tell anybody about BYB, but everyone out there has a friend who you're like, that's a weird fuck. He like BYB. So tell him about it, or her, or maybe you have a friend in a wheelchair and be like, hey, check out this show. We got a quadriplegic who's running a fucking great show. So I hate to, use that as a tool for him, but technically he has an angle being in a wheelchair that by hook or by crook, it's an angle. So let's see what he does. Out of tune, do you think your association with certain controversial people like KB and Stuttering John, who've had a bad rep, will affect your career in a negative way in the long run? So I don't want to get too much into this. But I mean, I'd have to be a moron to not like at least think about this sort of stuff. I can think of a time when I first started, like right now, I'm all in on Kevin Brennan. I'm all in. As to a certain extent, I'm kind of almost relying on him to a certain degree. So it don't matter what I think anymore. I'm going to do what's lock in step with KB and KB associated, because I've kind of just, that life has chosen me. But there was a time before this. There was actually a time, I don't know if you folks, some of you old timers and like hardcore fans will remember, there was a top 10 racist comedians in New York City list that came out a couple of years ago, and Kevin was like the top. I think he was the top name. And like when that came out, there was a lot of bad talk going around about Kevin, and that was when I first started like becoming more of a regular guest. And I was at some Michael Che event where I was helping produce a live show that Che was doing outdoors during COVID. And I was hanging out with like Big J Okerson and Cypher Sound and all these like New York City fucking guys. And it came up where I brought it up to, I think, Big J. And I was like, I'm going to be working with Kevin Brennan, I think, a little bit. Like, what do you think about that? And like, Big J was like, whoa, yeah, buddy. Like, he's something else, man. Like, he does have this reputation. So, I never took much, stock into that shit because at the end of the day, I have a good time. I like I like the guy. I think he's one of the funniest people naturally in the world, living and past that. So the fact that I get to fucking get involved with that is just money in the bank, baby. Literally. Desk flip was epic. Yeah, I did fuck that desk up, and thank you for Garrett for fixing it. The client host is having a good time. That was work. You deserve an Oscar. Exactly. It's really hard to get pure emotion on screen from actors. So Mickey is saying, back then I had my compound sub. I saw that go down live and I had no idea who you were when it happened. It was nuts and some high energy shit. Seemed unscripted and hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of juice out of that. We definitely worked it. That was by far the most insane. That was the most attention I'd ever gotten. There were like multiple massive Reddit threads going on because it was like not just Stevie Lou from Eastside Dave fucks up the compound desk. It was like intern producer attacks host. And it was like posted on all sorts of different controversy Reddits and shit like that. So I was like getting overrun by that shit. The client host is having a good time. I'm here for it, buddy. I'm glad you're having a good time. Attitude says he thinks I still went easy. Eastside Dave knew how to push buttons. This is from Mickey. His Earl meltdowns on Ron and Fez were nuts. And yeah, that's 100% accurate, man. Like Dave used to work people like me, Flutzy, Big A, Bobo, like he was Ron Bennington working his crew. And that's some shit that he learned and picked up from Ron. So we actually had one episode where Ron was in studio and we like blindfolded Dave and Ron was like throwing water on him and shit, trying to have him guess who it was while I was in studio. And that's like something I'll never forget, being able to actually work with Ron Bennington. And Ron has always been cool too to me because I was a diehard Ron and Fez fan. That's kind of really why I went all in with Eastside Dave, is because I was a regular listener of Ron and Fez for a very long time and Bennington for a long time too. And I will admit, man, I'm sadly not really following them as much anymore. That's neither here nor there, but I do feel a very deep kinship with that program, being someone who worked with Dave, who was the executive producer of the Ron and Fez show for a year and change, I think. I didn't want to say it, but Leo Gunn did. Apparently, that fateful night, Gino had set up the whole private room at Sullivan's, and then nobody showed. And famously, Sullivan's was looking for someone to pay a reservation fee, and they looked, and it was Big A and Leo Gunn, and Big A ain't got no money. So Big A ain't got no money. They always find him funny. Smokey, you haven't even full grown yet. You shouldn't be smoking or vaping, even though your name is Smokey. And I guess that is ironic if you are vaping and your name is Smokey. Patrick Bateman, if you work for Troma, you're pretty much on a better trajectory than most involved in this BS reverse. Also, F Chad. And yeah, Patrick, let me just be very clear. I am not an employee. I am not a salaried employee of Troma Entertainment. I've just worked on multiple Troma Entertainment films, Troma produced films. I'm friendly with Lloyd and the entire team over there. We go over and shoot a lot of stuff in the basement at Troma. So we've used their facility uh, a lot, and it's great because there's all sorts of crazy shit all over the place, man. Look, actually, look at this. I got this. This is a popcorn box from the premiere of one of my favorite Troma films, Terror Firmer. So I don't know if folks have ever seen this. This sits in the back of my background here, but this was like basically a from 2000, Friday, January 21st, 2000. It was a showing, the premiere of Terror Firmer, which if you folks haven't seen the Lloyd Kaufman directed classics from Troma, you should go to tromanow.com. You can get a free month on the house. And after that, it's $10, something like that. But there's some amazing shit on there. I am a subscriber. Oh man, Jason Ducey is throwing up the L. And I love to see that shit. I don't know why. I love that. But that is Smash Mouth. Somebody once told me the world is going to roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. From Mark Foley. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in a shape of an L on her forehead. What? Legend. Legendary. Oh, the years start coming and they don't start coming. I get to the rules and I get around of it. Did it make sense? Not to hit for fun. Your brain gets on. All right. What's the deal? Okay, AJ Drinks. I've been podcasting and doing this shit for I think 3 years now, and you are the first person to finally ask me what is up with this fucking crazy. It's like made of iron. This is like it's like 50 pounds. It's insane. So I found this on the street in Midtown Manhattan in the trash one day, and it's got this like crazy ornate base. It's basically, I looked it up. It's some French champagne company from like 1915, from the 1910s, that this was like a promotional thing that they gave out. So I got it working again. The top light bulb is jammed up, and I got to figure out a replacement to get that fixed. But everything else is in working order. It's actually got one of these really crazy old school. You can't see it. It's a fuck it. You can hear it. It's like a toggle switch. It's like one of these old school fucking um analog toggle on off switches. It's fucking beautiful. So thank you for asking, buddy. Klein host is having a great time. The losers come on. That's an easy one, bro. Joe Valentine. The losers come on. Yeah, lunatics, losers. It's up to you how you want to identify. It is 2024, but I'm here for it. Thanks for explaining that, Eastside Dave Leo Gunn. When I said Eastside, thanks for explaining that, Stevie. Ooh, wow, that was weird. Thanks for explaining that, Stevie. When I said Eastside Dave was gone, I meant from Compound Yin. Yes, yeah, sorry. I just had to, be the buddy there. And yes, Bobby Tamburo, the burro of comedy, the donkey of comedy, excuse me, is a good dude, as is Big A, a big teddy bear, 100%. Andrew has been one of the most supportive, good, eggs in this universe. He used to come to any show that I was performing on in the tri-state area, and he would take pictures for me without even asking. He would show up and get some really great images of me, the crowd, and I'm in debt to Andrew for his undying support. And he really was good with Dave. Dave knew how to work him. If you guys ever have a chance, check out anytime that Billy Mitchell was on Eastside Dave show. Billy would get asked questions from Big A that were written by Dave, and they were some of the most insane fucking things ever. And Billy Mitchell was a good sport and answered. These guys are cross chatting. The client host is Carl and Punk. Patrick Bateman says, go on. Pat Dixon live. Why not? Fuck KB. He's literally using you. Gets off on you boys calling him daddy. Jesus, man. All right. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm almost done here. I'd love to maybe do a night with Pat. But again, I'm kind of stepping on some toes here. Sorry. And yes, Sam Elliott, Mark Foley helped me out here. Derek is sharp. Yeah, that was his it was his moment in the sun when Chad came trying to run him down and just couldn't do it. And is still to this day shook from it. He was just talking about Derek on his show the other day. And it's hilarious that Derek did that to him. What about him? What about Joe Exotic? Mickey, Stevie, in a way, KB reminds me of Bennington. Ruled with an iron fist, but loved to surround himself with the wild talent. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure KB wouldn't, he doesn't like being compared to people. But there's no one more respected from what I see than Ron Bennington. So if you're going to compare KB to Ron, I hope KB wouldn't take offense to that. I think that's a nice thing to say, actually, Mickey. Thank you. Attitude, yeah, man. This is what we do here. We're trying to get to everybody, working through it here. The client host wants a mod. No fucking way. Chat's out of control. Leo's digging it. At least mod Leo. Chat's out of control. I should mod Leo. Smoking this burger is 21. Hey, I hope you go vote. Then, and congratulations, buddy. Again, I got no. I'm not mad at Smokey this Berg. And I don't wish you well. I wish you much more than well. Just give me some time, buddy. I've been going through a lot lately. I completely accept your apology, and I will unblock you. I promise. 21. Hopefully, we'll be getting some 21s in Atlantic City at the blackjack table. Right? Right, Leo? Right? Patrick Bateman, holy shit, I'd give quite a bit of for a piece from a Troma film. Well, Patrick, let me tell you that keep an eye out. I'm not sure where you are, and that's fine. You don't have to dox yourself, but Troma has a very strong presence in the festival expo circuit. So they are out going to all the horror festivals that they can. They'll set up a booth, and a lot of times they've been willing to sell some memorabilia from some shows, so some movies. So keep your eyes out. There's a new Toxic Avenger movie that's been filmed in the can, ready to release. It's not a Troma film. Troma sold the rights to Legendary Films, and this film was made already. Peter Dinklage is I almost said David Dinkins, which was the mayor of New York City in the 90s. Peter Dinklage is the star of Toxic Avenger, and I have not seen the film. I know one or two people who have seen it, and they've signed a very strict NDA to not describe it, but I heard it's fucking out there and wild. So looking forward to that. But what I also heard is that what happened was when the strike happened, a lot of films got backed up, and there's kind of a bottleneck going on. Right now in theaters, there's almost nothing of worth, but this spring we're gonna get beaten over the head with like 2 times the amount of films that we normally see due to the strike having held up stuff. So there's going to be a lot of releases coming, and the folks that have the rights to Toxics said we're going to hold off and let the bottleneck clear a little bit, and then we'll drop it nationwide. So it's kind of sad to sit there and know that it's coming soon, but there is a new Toxic Avenger film coming out, and that will 100% reinvigorate the Troma brand, which is still alive and well. There is a huge underground following, as Patrick here could attest to, for Troma entertainment work, new stuff, anything from Lloyd, really. So I'm thinking that there will be some cool shit coming in the next 5 years, 10 years, while we still got these guys around. Fuck. Yes. Holy shit. Well, Mickey. Okay, Mickey's saying, SL, I know it's before your time, but are you familiar with or know anyone connected to the Gigi Allen documentary? I grew up with UNK and Indy, with Unk and Indy. Yes, I don't know them, but I'm pretty sure it was what the fuck? The director of Road Trip. Oh man, hold on. What the fuck is the guy's name? Todd Phillips. Yes. If I have that correct, I believe Todd Phillips was the director of the Gigi Allen documentary. So I don't know Todd Phillips, but I know of Todd Phillips because he is a very famous documentarian, or no, he's a director, but he did the Fish documentary called Bittersweet Motel, which is, up there for me personally because I'm a big Fish fan. But I put it up. I put Bittersweet Motel up there with The Last Waltz, Stop Making Sense, as one of the best concert films of all time. So I gotta watch that. I haven't seen it, and I do believe it's a Todd Phillips production. The client host says Mod Leo Gun or we riot. Angie, do you keep in contact with Dave? I don't, sadly. I don't. And that's okay. To be frank, I do think that Dave saw me go this Dabbleverse route, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. So I think I kind of became bad money for any sort of reappearance on the Eastside Dave program, Davey Max Sports, once I got really heavily involved with Kevin and the Dabbleverse. I still do stay in touch with Roy. Roy and I go and see Dogs in a Pile concerts as many times as we can throughout the year. And I still, stay in touch with Bobby. People are good eggs all around. You're a good human, dude. Please stay up. I will, Patrick. Thank you. Is it a Pomery lamp? Good show, Stevie Lunatics. I don't know if it's a Pomery lamp. I'll have to look up what that is. Thank you, Leo. Stevie is the only MLC guest who can decipher some of the wacky and cryptic super chats that KB receives. # truth. It's funny when I'm listening at home, because I do listen to every episode. I'm not going to lie. I'm a fucking fan. When I hear him take a super chat when he's doing a solo and he doesn't get it, I'm like, I have this one for you, pal. I like Lloyd on AVGN, and that is the Marvel movie? Is that what he means? Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy. No, what's AVGN? It's over my head right now. Yeah, Patrick Bateman. There's that one new trailer out that I've seen, and I heard from my buddy who's seen the film that the trailer really misrepresents the film because there's a bunch of like newscaster shit that's in the trailer that's not really a part of the film. What they do show at the end of the trailer that seems to be like shot scenes that's in the film. So my buddy who did see it did secretly tell me that like the trailer that is out there does a very poor job at giving you an idea of what the film is. He said it's fucking out there. He said it's really wacky and it's like different as all fuck. That's all he could really say. He couldn't give me any details. So you Gigi Allen used to shit in his hand and throw it at the audience. A lot more and a lot worse. Yeah, I love his music. There's not a lot of it out there. But if you go on Spotify and plug in Gigi Allen, you'll get some great raw recordings and some interviews too. He was fucking something else. Or even just like listening to the guys that he performed with in his band talk about him. It's fucking really heavy shit. Yeah, there we go. Patrick Bateman, I think is, I don't know if that's the one you're talking about, dude, but honestly, like I was just talking to my buddy Brandon Bassam, who's the director of Bring on the Damned. We were driving to the set the other day, and I have this theory that like the pathway to becoming a good director is doing a film documentary, because you had Martin Scorsese do The Last Waltz, you had Demi do Stop Making Sense, you had Phillips do Gigi Allen and Fish, and all three of them went on to do fucking phenomenal, groundbreaking work. Really. So that documentaries and music videos, which is something that like I've been like, truth be told, I'm working on my first short film that I'm trying to make. But like when I was working on that, a buddy of mine who I showed it to the script, he was like, this could work as a music video. And that's also another dream of mine, is to like maybe start making shorts and music videos, because there's a ton of directors out there. This guy Jonathan Glazer, who is the director of this new film Zone of Interest. He's done a couple of crazy films previously, but he was a music video director first. He did the Jamiroquai Virtual Insanity video, as well as the Karma Police Radiohead video. So let's get after it, folks. Yeah, Unk. That's right. Mickey Blitzko, Unk, who was on the inside of Gigi, and his brother Merle. He was pretty hilarious in the doc that he was inside, and it was crazy. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've heard just the audio of Unk and probably Merle as well talk about Gigi, because they have that same guttural Boston dock worker, whiskey, cigarette, ripped voice that you hear, like, when I'm listening to Gigi Allen live or whatever, you're hearing his voice. I'm loving it. Let's go here. Yeah, true, Patrick. Dinklage is involved. It's got a rule. Leo Gunn, get the fuck out of here. He's just telling me right now that John the Barber Gutwig is his brother. The Gutwigs is his neighbor. Well, I don't think I've met John's brother, but I've heard good things about the whole Gutwig family. And the Disco Biscuits are my favorite band, hands down, without question. If people put a gun to my head and say, who's your favorite band of all time, it's the Disco Biscuits. They're killing it right now. They're out on tour. I'm going to go see them live in March in New York City, but I'm thinking about going to see them on the road. If you are into live music and you live out in the United States, go to discobiscuits.com and look up their tour dates right now. They're coming from California through Arizona and making their way across from the West Coast to the East Coast right now. So they're doing a bunch of dates all over the country. I can guarantee you an incredible time at a Disco Biscuit concert. And that's for people who are sober and people who like to party. The Disco Biscuits are absolutely one of the biggest, most intense party bands of all time. Their music is made just to dance and fucking go nuts to, but you don't necessarily have to get fucking blitzed to the tits when you go. I've been there, and I've done that, and it's something I'm actually like looking to try to phase out of, where smoking less weed, doing less hardcore shit, and hardcore shit for me is like a little fucking little trip, a little roll. Come on, Stevie Lou is a very wholesome guy when it comes down to it. I'm sure some of you understand out there, and if not, it's all good. Patrick Bateman is my new guy here. Definitely, Patrick, when we have film talk, please come through and bring all this shit up. You guys are doing a great job in the chat right now, helping me work through this here. Stop Making Sense, in my opinion. Stop Making Sense is the best, in my opinion. Got to watch it finally in one of the best old theaters in the country a few years ago. So that's great. A few years ago, not to be like one up, but they just released last month the 40th anniversary. The film company A24, which is probably the premier production company in the world right now for films, they got their hands on the print and they gave it a 4K upscale and released it in theaters just a month ago. And I got to go see that in theaters, and it's something I'd seen maybe 100 times, literally, on the small screen, and seeing it in theaters for the first time was an absolute mind-blowing experience. Gutwilligs are from New Jersey. I know that for a fact. If you ever hear John Gutwillig, John the Barber, talk while he's on stage, he's got a very thick New Jersey accent. Yeah, I was lucky I got to see that. I got a funny story about that one too, and I'll leave you guys pretty soon here. When I was at that showing of Stop Making Sense, it was like 5 or 6 of us in the theater, and some dude a couple rows ahead of me started filming. He took his phone out and he started recording the movie with his phone, and I fucking almost lost my shit. I almost went after him. I started yelling. I was like, "Hey, what the fuck? Yo!" Because he was obnoxiously filming the screen, and I could not have it. It was so distracting. I started yelling at him. I was like, hey, stop that. Stop that. What are you, hey. Got weird. Yeah, I think like the re-release of Stop Making Sense was one of the highest grossing concert films of all time. The re-release. I know Taylor Swift just made a shit ton of money putting her concert out. Beyonce did the same. From what I understand, I think that live concert films are gonna make a huge comeback, and it's always been around. But I think that's a cool thing, man. Going to the theater and having a collective experience with a group of other people. Steve, are you familiar with the Andy Warhol Frankenstein and Dracula movies from the 70s? Frankenstein was released in 3D and was a great movie. Yeah, I don't know those too well. I'm aware of them. I got to check that out, though. That was using the old school red and blue 3D. So I would have lost my shit, Patrick Brennan. True. Well, I got to lose my piss. I got to take a piss. So I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you to all the chatters. My boy Leo Gunn, Mickey popping in, Patrick, even Decline Host, and Guru. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate it. Go watch the rest of Pat Dixon if he's still streaming. If not, I'll see you guys soon. Check me out on MLC. Please hit subscribe. Watch BYB. Look out for Bring on the Damned. Watch Blunt Smoker. And keep it real. Peace.